on the list, a recurring theme is the way corporate media cover or don't cover issues around labor. So why don't you talk about that? There's some pretty significant activities going on around labor issues in the United States, but one might not know that if they only had a diet of corporate media.
Absolutely, and the number 3 story on this year's top 25 list is the historic wave of wildcat strikes for workers' rights. We're right now
It's a workers' economy from here on out.
Unprecedented wave of unauthorized work stoppages. It's probably the largest wave of wildcat strikes in this country since the late 1960s and early 70s, which also had kind of a wave of wildcat strikes. And it's been prompted, or is a response, direct response to COVID-19 and to the dangers that COVID-19 created for frontline workers. As you know, workers who were designated as frontline workers, that included nurses and teachers and meat packers and delivery workers. Since they were designated as frontline workers, they continued to have to work, as many other people either went remote or were able to get enhanced unemployment benefits. And in response, many of those frontline workers engaged in spontaneous or at least unauthorized 1 or 2 day work stoppages.
Teaching people how to protest again.
Better wages, personal protective equipment, and other safety measures at the workplaces, and in some cases in sympathy with the aims of the Black Lives Matter movement following the murder of George Floyd. Now, if you were consuming only the corporate media, you might have seen 1 or 2 scattered stories about these work stoppages and various kinds of local media where local media still exists, because local media
Black plague killed feudalism. Trump virus will kill capitalism. We're done with this system.
All over the country. In places where you still have local commercial media, you might have seen some isolated reporting about, for example, the fact that, here in the Chicago area where I live, employees at the Pete's coffee chain engaged in a 1-day coordinated strike.
Or you hear about Kellogg's or
Nabisco
or something months later.
For a $15 minimum wage. And
once Danny DeVito tweets about it.
A similar kind of coordinated 1-day strike took place at the McDonald's restaurants all over Florida. You might have seen some isolated coverage about that, but what the corporate media kind of failed to do was to connect the dots and to report the wave of strikes as a wave and as a significant and historic wave. And the only kind of media that's actually been systematically covering this is labor media, and in particular, Payday Report, which is a project of a guy by the name of